Welcome to Mining Now. We are bringing these episodes to you from CIM 2024 in Vancouver. We've got, I believe it's Weber's first time on the show, Weber Mining. We have Jean-Luc Schmitter. He is the Service Technical Manager, and we have Anthony Ferrenbach. He is the General Manager at Weber Mining. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Hi, Jared. How are you?
I'm great. No, this is the first day, so I'm full energy right now.
Yeah. Same for us.
I do find by the fourth interview on the last day, I do have a little bit of a focus. Okay. I'm like, okay, it is. The technical questions get less technical.
Exactly.
But maybe just a quick, Anthony, let's start with you. Just what is your role with the company, sort of day to day?
Yeah, so I'm the general manager for North, Central, and South America. So I overlook our business in this region. So Weber, basically, we manufacture resin injection products for underground operation, that be mining or tunneling, for ground consolidation and roof support.
Okay, and what is your sort of day to day with the company?
I'm the technical service manager. So I am in the company since 39 years now. I have experience in the coal mining and tunneling and hard rock. And so my business is to help the customers to apply our products, to use our equipment, and
How do you sort of, I guess, Anthony, just to sort of expand, when you're talking about Weber, you're going to have, we're like practice, we're warm-up for the next 2.5 days, that's all you'll be doing. For anybody who doesn't know, how do you sort of describe not just what the company does, but scope, who you're working with, like that full...
Well, so basically what we try to do is to accompany the mine into their mining operation. So at several parts of the mining cycle, they have ground issues that they will encounter, and then we try to have the resin product that will help them do this operation. So that be in the ground consolidation phase. So if they do, if they develop a crosscut and before going to the ore body, they have a fault zone so that they could have a cavity, they might prevent that, injecting our resin into the ground. So that's one part. Then if they do have the cavity because they didn't consolidate, then they can fill this cavity with another of our resin, which is a resin that expands 35 times its initial volume. So it's basically in several parts of the mining cycle that we try to help the mine with improving the ground conditions that they will encounter and make things basically safer for them to mine and do the operation.
To make it simple, we have products, resins, to enhance the safety and the productivity in the underground mines.
I don't know if you have the stat. How much of your services is the call when it happens as opposed to before it happens? The preventative, they planned it out, or, now we got a problem?
Yeah, exactly. So that's go ahead, Jean.
Yeah, I would say both of them. We have prophylactic products, so we have ground consolidation resins to prevent roof falling, roof collapse, and things like that. But if they even happen, we have also the solution to come over to to fill the cavity, for instance, and to went through the problem.
But I guess that this is key, because to be honest, the resin in ground consolidation, this is one of the only products that's preventive. So the thing is that if you prepare well your advance and you know that you will have a fault zone, then you can be preventing, inject the resin to the forefront of your gallery, then you won't have the issue that you might see, such as a cavity or overburden or stuff like that.
Let's talk about our Heavy Industry World Tour, brought to you by Savannah Equipment, supplying mining equipment worldwide. We are heading to events across North America and Australia and filming episodes on location. Email us at info@crownsman.com to be part of Crownsman's Heavy Industry World Tour. Falkirk Environmental Consultants transform ideas into sustainable realities. Founded in 2019 by a visionary team including Jen Turner, Max Brownhill, Mike McPhee, and Indigenous Engagement Specialist Christy Smith. The team champions projects that thrive and respect communities and ecosystems. Falkirk specializes in project planning, Indigenous rights, community well-being, and water stewardship. The team at Falkirk are more than consultants. They are natural resource stewards that support a sustainable future. Falkirk, getting it right the first time. You can contact them info@falkirk.ca to learn more. LiveMine is the data management solution for the digital mine, making mining operations paperless through an intuitive and easy-to-use app developed by mining professionals with decades of real-world experience. Trusted by operators in 7 countries across the globe. Get better and more accurate data faster than ever and throw away your paper plods, PDF printouts, and shift sheets. Visit livemine.com.au to learn more.
So who's the customer then? Is it the, I guess, contractors as well as the actual operators then, right?
So I would say that, so mostly we speak with the mines. So we speak to the geotechnical department. So this is the main one that's more into the operation of the mine. We also work with the planning department, that be short-term, medium-term, and long-term. And that's more on the production side. So we help them. An example of a ground consolidation application, it's the sub-level stoping of a block of mineral. So if it's within a collapse zone and they need to stope, to do the sub-level stoping, we can consolidate the rear of this block. So that's preventive, and this is when we work with the long-term manager, for example, long-term planification manager.
Are you providing it to an installer, or are you actually are you on the ground consulting? What's your role? How far do you take it in the actual installation?
We have different options. For instance, in Europe, most of the mines are just buying the resin and they're doing the injection, the application themselves. In Mexico, for instance, the people ask for a solution, so we deliver the complete solution.
You're actually doing the install?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I would say that what we've seen, Jean-Luc, is that the coal mine, since it's a product that they've been using for decades now, they are used to use the product, or sometimes we do the capacitation of the mining personnel. But in the hard rock mining sector, most of the time we do the application. Usually our products more new in hard rock mines, so we do accompany them in the application. We do explain how we do things. We do the application, so we have the mining operators to. So that's a complete solution from the beginning to end, and that's a very big differentiator for Weber, to be honest.
So you're do you have teams all over essentially the world then, right?
So we have a team of experts that do the application. So for example, in my case in Mexico, we do have our team that does the application. This starts basically from the beginning, before that we sell the product. So we see the issue, we usually visit the mine. We make a technical proposal with the whole methodology, which is something important because most of the time it's something that they would have seen before if it's our first visit, in terms of the methodology that we can apply to their issue. And then after we do the work, so we have our pumps, our mining personnel, all of the hardware is ours as well. And that's guarantees not only the product but the application, and they know that in the mining environment things change quickly, So if you just sell the product, then the cavity, if it's ongoing, it can be much bigger. So the client, they do like that we do the application and that we can adapt to those issues.
Yeah, I would think that would be. But you're saying in Europe, mostly,
yeah, they're doing, because it's in the coal mining sector. It's more a daily use. So the people know exactly how to do it, and they have their trained people, their own trained people. So it's they just ask for the product, and we deliver the product, and they do the work by themselves. We deliver the product, so it means the resins and the pumps, and the miners, the people from the mine are installing injecting the resin.
Oh, so you're doing hardware as well as the product itself. I see. You talked about. You talked about the cavity filling, but are you doing what sort of? Is there a sort of a list of the different product lines you have?
Yeah. So our product line, we have. It's based on 3 chemistries. We have the silicate chemistry, we have the polyurethane chemistry, and we have the phenolic chemistry. These are the 3 ones we are using to make ground consolidation resins, to make foams for cavity filling, to make resins for water sealing, and to make resins for bolting. We have also a bolting resin. It's not the usual capsule which is used since a long time in the mining industry. It's a pumpable resin, a 2-component pumpable resin. And this is something new we are developing with Epiroc. And they are using this on their big bolters, on the Boltecs and so on. And we have also a lone, how do you call it, a standalone pump. And so we can use this resin where we want. We don't need to have the bolter on site.
Make the most of your broadband network by adding mission-critical voice with Tasta's PTT. Trust Tasta Americas for flexible solutions that fit your needs and integrate seamlessly with data networks and devices. Take advantage of your existing broadband network such as LTE, 5G, and/or Wi-Fi to provide secure, reliable voice communications with their on-premise solution. Tasta Americas, your communication and safety partner. Visit tastaamericas.com or follow them on LinkedIn to learn more. CIM is Canada's leading technical institute dedicated to the sustainability of our industry. Members enjoy professional growth opportunities through CIM libraries, publications, webinars, societies, and the job board. Experience the CIM community firsthand at the Conference of Metallurgists, August 19th to 22nd, ICARD, September 16th to 20th, and the CIM Health and Safety Conference, October 6th to 8th. Visit CIM.org for more information and join CIM today.
Can you expand a little bit? I'm not familiar with it. So you're actually working with Epiroc on this, developing the product, or they had it? Are you able to disclose how that partnership ended up happening?
So basically, Epiroc, they are well known for the machines for the bolting sector. We've started our partnership 5 years ago. So now we have a common branded resin which is called Potentia Tixo, and basically Weber supplies them with the resin for this Boltec machine. And the very big, the groundbreaking application here is that you can do the complete bolting cycle in an automated way. So meaning you can drill, place the bolt, inject the resin with no human intervention, so it's completely automated, which brings a lot of efficiency to the process. So basically you can do more bolts per hour, and in the end with how many bolts that they put in every mine, so that's a very big factor for them.
I've been asking this question more because I've realized over now years, which is amazing, of doing these interviews. I ask my questions. Sometimes the guests will say, "Hey, we'd like to talk about this." So I'll have like notes from you or what have you. Then I realized there's also people watch this, and I always picture this person that I need to know this one thing. Can you please ask this? And you get to the end of the interview and I never ask. Are there some common questions? What are some questions you're going to get at CIM? About either your product, the partnership with Epiroc, global distribution, lead times. I mean, these are common questions you're getting. What are some of the questions that you expect at an event like this, or hope for, I should say?
Well, we expect, basically we're here on this CIM to show our bolting resin. That's the main thing. But in the meantime, we would like to show our consolidation resins, what we call our traditional products. It's a cavity filling and consolidation resins that we inject in the cracks to bond the strata together and to prevent collapsing and things like that, to enhance the ground conditions. And that's something, I guess, which is not so much used in Canada at this moment in time, and it's largely used in Europe and the coal mines. It's largely used in Australia and the coal mines. And so we try to find also our way in the hard rock sector to introduce these resins to help the mines to give us our
How
solutions.
are they doing it here in Canada?
Yeah, so giving a bit of context, I would say that right now, Weber, we are very strong with the bolting resin in Canada with Epiroc. So that's a product that we've been selling the last few years. It's going very well. We've been attending the clients. They are very happy with that. And of course, the more that they see the resin, they start to think of other applications as well. So we are showcasing not only the bolting resin. which we use for bolts, we use for cables as well, because this is a resin that we customize. So basically, some of the question that we will have is that some clients, they do short bolts, so they do 2.4 meter bolts, so they have one type of resin. So what do you customize? Basically, it's the setting time, the thixotropic grade. So the thixotropy, basically, it's how the pastiness of the resin. And because you do the bolting application, most of the time it's vertical application, so you don't want it to leak when you inject. Especially if you use a Boltec, you don't want to waste the resin or stuff like that. So what we've seen is that in Canada, in the US as well, the clients are very keen to know if they can inject 2.4 meter bolts, extended bolts, cables of 6 meter or 12 meter. And since we are the resin manufacturer, we can customize all of that. So we can do from a 45-second setting time resin to a 15-minute setting time. So, for example, short bolts, you would do that with 45 seconds. And then the thixotropic grade.
Oh, so the need, that's what I was trying to figure out the need. Yeah. The need is based on the length of the bolt.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, okay.
The length of the bolt, the diameter of the bolt, the temperature of the mine.
Right.
And since we have a global presence, we work in hot mines, in cold mines. And that's something that we can work basically in any environment. And that's what some of the questions that we have, because...
That's also our force to customize the resin to each customer's need.
Right.
Because we are not so huge company, and so when we have a requirement about speed of reaction, so we will adapt. That's for sure.
Does that make you stand out in the market? Like that ability to adapt?
That's one of them.
Competitive advantage.
Yeah.
So, yeah, especially in the hard rock mining sector, which is the one with the highest growth right now.
Yeah.
What we've seen is that the client at the beginning, they were quite afraid of the resin because they don't know how to use it, or they're not used to that.
I was going to ask that. I want to jump in because I wanted to ask this question before we move off that topic. What are like Canadian mines, U.S. mines? We have a huge audience in the U.S. Yeah. What are they using instead of like a resin product like yours?
Do you mean the other product that they would use?
Yeah, like what are they doing instead of?
So let's take the example of cavity filling application. So basically, you have several alternatives. So if you have a huge cavity, you can either do a bypass. So you do another gallery to bypass the cavity. So the issue there is that
expensive.
It's expensive. It takes a lot of time, and then you have no guarantee if you're going to cross a fault zone that you won't have the cavity onto the bypass as well. Yeah. So that's one option, which is not usually the best, I would say. The other one is that you can put wood or wheels into the cavity, but then that sounds unsafe. It's not safe because if it's ongoing, the mining personnel is exposed to a dangerous area.
It's quite forbidden now to enter a non-supported area. So you can. That was the solution maybe 40 years ago.
Yeah. No, but I mean today I've seen they still do that. But the alternative with the resin, that from a safe area. So if you have access to the gallery that had the cavity, you can from a safe area place a set of injection lenses and inject the foam above the fallen ground, and it's a resin that expands in 2 minutes, 35 times its initial volume. It's going to expand onto the cavity up until it's completely filled. So at no point you will expose the mining personnel. And in the end of the filling, how do we know that it's completely filled? That's one of the questions that we have as well. That the end,
I wish I had thought of that question. Very good question.
Because that's a big issue. Because if you don't fill completely the cavity, then you have a risk of self-mining. So it's going to keep increasing. Yeah. So we do assure that. So basically, once it's completely filled, since the resin expands, it's going to put positive pressure onto the wall of the cavity. So this brings stability to this area. And then the manometer of our pump, they will increase and basically tell us there is no more void. You cannot inject anymore, so that's completely filled. Yeah. So that's one of the things that we've seen a lot in the hard rock mines, an alternative that we've given them and that allowed us to get into the hard rock mining business. Basically.
And are you making those are you making some of the inroads, or is this really a new sort of push into some of those segments in the North American mining market, U.S. Canadian mining market, I should say?
I guess the foams are existing since a long time, but it was never really used because the offer was not there. Because if you want to use the foam as a cavity filler, you need stock on site or in the
right.
You need to have it quickly on the site, and that's the main issue most of the time. So we had some years ago we had some inquiries and we could not deliver fast enough, so we lost the job. But today we are in a position that we can deliver quickly, and so it changed a lot on the market.
It's probably a good time to give a little backdrop of who Weber is. Just a little bit. Jean-Luc, do you want to just tell a little bit of the story? You know, how long the company's been around. We kind of skipped that at the beginning of the interview, so my apologies. But
Weber Mining is now more than 60 years old. We are we are developing resins for ground consolidation, cavity filling, and water sealing. And so the company is now, as I said, 60 years old. We started in the former coal mining area in France, where the company is based. From there, we started to work with Germany and then with Poland, and so we grow and grow and grow, and now we are more or less all over the place.
Wow.
We started in the beginning with the phenolic foam because, let's say, 40 years back, there was one special, mining method in France. They had vertical seams, coal seams, but vertical.
Okay.
4 meters large, so they had to have some special mining production way. And they didn't want to use ground consolidation resin because they fear that the exothermic reaction is too hot and could ignite the coal. And in those production methods, it was quite difficult to get out because they had to get out with a ladder. And so they asked us to find resin with a lower exothermic reaction. And that's what we have done with phenolic resins. These phenolic resins have been quite much lower in reaction temperature. So much safer in regard to
fire, composition,
to the fire aspect. Yes, yeah. And then we could quickly identify that this phenolic resin. We can make foam with it.
Right.
And that was really the start of the company, because those times the cavity filling foam. Nobody had cavity filling foam especially for coal mining because of the fire issues. And that was really the start of our growth.
Wow.
And from there we went to Germany with our foam, then Poland, and so on.
And then you were mentioning, what sort of enabled you said you lost a couple jobs just because basically you couldn't deliver on those projects. Has the company made investments in expansion, or is there certain things that are in place that you're able to now?
We have better our spray out. How can I say?
Yeah, we have subsidiaries spread out all over the world, so it's easier for us. So basically, right now we have a huge warehouse in the north of Mexico, close to the U.S. border.
Okay.
So we send product to the U.S. and to Mexico from this subsidiary. And we're in a phase of developing in Canada as well to have a storage here. So once you have product here, it's much easier for us to send the product. Again, all of those applications, as you can tell, it's more or less you have the event and then you need to react quite fast.
Right. So that's a key component in this market.
Yeah, because basically if you have a cavity, you cannot wait for 2 months for the product to come from France.
We sell a quick filling. So if you have to wait 2 weeks on the product,
it's not a quick thing. Yeah, because our product, a very big difference. If you have to compare to cement, that's the thing that the people compare us to a lot to. The resin usually they set in 2 minutes. When you compare that to cement, usually it's 72 hours.
Yeah.
So it's
depending
not the
on
same.
the size of what they're doing, it could be longer. Right?
So basically, you do resolve the issue much faster and usually in a safer way as well.
And longevity-wise, it could be used for years, or what would the lifespan of something like that be?
The finished foam?
Yeah.
Oh, for years, of course.
Yeah.
We found a foam which had been more than 30 years when they reopen an old part in the mine and the foam was still there.
It's still there, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, what we do a lot as well is we usually, in the descent of the mine, they usually fill between the set and the ground, they fill it with foam as well.
Yeah.
And this descent is going to be there for the whole time of the mine. So that can be 50 years, 60 years. Yeah.
And then is the manufacturing of the actual product then, is that out of France, or where does that come out?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay.
It's done in France, and by the way, we have improved our capacity on production, because the last 2 years we had a very big growth. 7,000 tons we sold last year, and
7,000 tons.
Yeah. And so it's probably more than double that 2 years back.
Yeah, before COVID.
And so that means that we have now we improved our production and also our storage of raw material capacity.
Wow.
We doubled it simply. So, yeah.
And what is that demand, or is that strategically, like you're saying, setting up in the right spots, like border of Mexico and the U.S.? Is it sort of building that ability to get there first, and now that fuels it because now the clients, or is it sort of work hand in hand?
I would say that it's more about the differentiator that we've put in place within Weber. So one thing is that one of the products that we sell a lot now is the bolting application with Epiroc, and again. We can differentiate from the other resin manufacturer because we can do the resin that the client wants. And once you do that in one place, it's very quick for other clients to ask it and know about it. So this has been making a lot of noise in the market. It's been going really well in the US, in Canada, in North of Europe, in Australia as well. And first it started, I'd say that because this growth, I would expect that it will continue to increase, especially in the bolting application, because we've been doing that. So again, with the bolt tech from Epiroc, but we've also recently developed a Tixo Spot, which is a standalone pump that you can do the injection of bolts without a bolter rig. And this is pretty big because, of course, a lot of mines do have the bolt tech, but much more don't. And now they have this solution where we build this pump, which has two tanks on it. It has a grease pump to flush after the injection. Then you have the piston pump to do the injection of the resin.
So is this for companies that are doing it themselves, or they have it on site and then you show up and operate, or both?
That's both. So
okay.
The issue before is that they didn't have the option to do it without a bolt tech. And now they do have this pump. And basically here the big advantage with this standalone pump is that you can do your bolting. So basically they can drill, place the bolts in their gallery, and then come with this pump, do all of the injection, because they have the resin with the pumps into those tanks. So it's a small unit that you can move in different sites within the mine. You don't need to have resin in one part and the other parts. Stuff like that. So we made things very easy to operate, basically. So that's something that I guess it's going to take a big development in the market. We are demoing it next month in Canada. So for the first time, it's going to be in the US as well. So we are quite excited about this one as well.
It's fun when you have companies on that are growing and pushing. I mean, our show's built for that. So
and I'd say that how do we develop that? It's basically because Weber does the technical assistance with the mine, and because we do it in so many places around the world, not only it helps our client, to be sure that it's or feeling safe with the application, because they know that we guarantee not only the product but the application, so it's going to be done well. But then we gather all of this experience for all of the job sites, and this fuels our research and development. So this is how we did this.
Yeah, that on the ground becomes your R&D.
Yeah, exactly. So right now Jean-Luc is working on a low temperature resin for Australia as well. This was because of what we gathered from the mines.
And also need from it was really inquiry from the market, because in Australia, then especially in Queensland, they had some issues, and the inspectorate, they asked it for resin with a lower exothermic reaction. So they asked for a 90-degree temperature on the exothermic reaction, and so we had to redesign our resins to achieve this. So we brought out some new resins, and these new resins have been tested in a university in regarding of the mechanical aspects, and they have been certified as good. And now the second step will be to make the test on the ground.
I've had companies on, and some of the guests have been fantastic, but I still don't 100% understand what they do. I kind of get it. Is part of your strength just, like you're talking about this little adjustment? Well, not a little adjustment, but your that ability to do that.
Yeah.
That sounds right there. It sounds like
Absolutely.
a unique, a big advantage in the industry. Has not, like from what I'm hearing, I'm not hearing 50,000 different products, 20, 30 different services.
Exactly.
It's quite clear what you do, what you deliver. Is that sort of the strength of the company?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. In the end, if you have to compare Weber to others, we stayed very niche. We only manufacture resin products. When our competitors, they went chasing other markets such as mesh, bolts. So this allowed us to be very focused and good at one thing rather than spread our attention to many other things. One other thing that it's a good example for that. For the bolting application, again, I'm talking about that a lot because it's in growth. But so we've developed a Tixo selector. So the resin is called Potentia Tixo, and the Tixo selector, basically, we've developed it with all of the information that we've gathered all over the world where this resin is used, so that we know how it reacts to every environment underground. So that be again the length of the bolts or the cables, the diameter of the borehole, if there is water, humidity, if it's the temperature underground, all of those stuff. We've created this Tixo selector, and now we are able to see any mines, get this information, and tell them this is the right resin for you. And this is again very important for them because the most used fortification method is the bolting application, and now they have this tool to make sure that all of the bolting that they will be doing, it's effective, which was not something that happened. I mean, with the resin capsule, we've seen studies that they said that at least 60% of those bolting applications that don't work. Now with this, you can really try to narrow down the right product for the application.
It's just to wrap up, but just on a personal, not personal, professional level. I always say personal. People probably think, "What are you going to ask me?" No, on a professionally though, is it nice to work for a company that, again, because I'm talking to so many people. Sometimes it even seems like people I'm talking to are a little bit overwhelmed because they have so much. They have sometimes interview outlines are very complex because we're trying to pull.
Sure.
You know, is it nice? What you've been in? How long did you say you've been in the industry?
39 years.
39 years.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming they weren't all with Weber. No, right? You haven't just worked with Weber, right? You've worked with.
I have worked only for Weber. Yeah.
Really?
39 years.
Well, that completely changes my question then. Well, let's talk about that.
But we do see that a lot within the company. Usually, people within Weber, they stay their whole life. To be honest.
When I finished my study, I had the chance to make to start with Weber, but it was just, by the way, to wait until I have a job in the civil engineering. That was my study.
Oh yeah.
And after 3 months, I started to travel, to go to the US and so on.
Yeah.
And when you're young, it's lovely. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
And so I stayed, and so I became the manager for the German market when the coal mines in Germany have still been open. Now they are all closed. And so I moved from the technical assistant in France to the manager of the German company, and now I am taking care about all the technical part
the group
for the group. Yeah, for the group.
What? There's a few different questions I'm thinking to ask, but I'm trying to pick just for time's sake. I don't want to ask you like 20, but I guess at what point in your career, you know, and there's a lot of points, was it year 10, 15, 20, 25, did you go, I'm staying here. Like this is where I want to have and develop my career. That's a big commitment.
Oh, yeah.
I know people that work for 2 months and they're already looking for the next job. Like we had a guy, he did an interview and it never aired because I think he left the interview and got a job at the event that he was being interviewed. It was crazy. So at what point do you remember that point we went, this company is kind of my home now?
Yeah, I guess when I became manager of the German subsidiary, that's quite interesting because I could really handle and get into the German market with our products, and with a lot of German competition, and it was really exciting.
Yeah, I bet. And then for you, you're born in France, right?
Yeah, I'm French.
But then you moved. When did you move to Latin America?
So I moved 7 years ago for Weber, basically, and they sent me to Mexico. So at first I thought that I would do 6 months there.
I'm noticing a bit of a theme here.
Yeah, that's always that's always the thing. And they sent me for 6 months, and then they offered me to be the general manager there.
Yeah.
And the thing I would say within Weber, so it's again, it seems like a very big company, but like we're a very big family.
Yeah.
Rather. So within the company, we're close to everyone. So that's something that's great, I think, in the corporate world as well. And then the challenge that we have. So I'm still very young, but I started even younger, and they gave me a lot of responsibility to develop the Mexican market. So it worked really well.
So how long have you been with the company?
7 years.
7 years. So you moved quite quickly.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right away.
Okay.
I started. So the first 6 months was half in France and half in Mexico.
Wow.
But then the Mexican market, it needed a lot of attention. So I took the challenge basically. They told me, hey, do you want to develop that market? The hard rock mining market there, it's huge. It was untapped. So I did that for a few years. It went really well. Right now we have quite a big operation there. And recently, they offered me to develop the US and Canada. We develop as well South America. So again, very big opportunity for me, very big challenge. Those are complicated markets with a lot of actors. So yeah, it's a challenge that's never ending. And right now, of course, this is an opportunity that I think is very hard to replicate, at least at my stage.
Yeah.
So and now I would say that if I leave Weber, it's after conquering the whole Canadian market and US market. So this will take maybe 10 years. So I'm good for another 10 years.
Well, I just curiosity. I've been to Mexico briefly. I've never lived in France. I've never lived in Mexico. Culturally, that must be a bit of a shift.
Yeah, well, so
I would think.
Yeah, no, my wife, she's from Colombia, so I was quite used to that. I used to live in Panama as well, so I knew the Latin
so
culture.
you had that.
Yeah, I already spoke Spanish, although my Spanish much better now than it used to. But yeah, there are a lot of things that
So you weren't. It wasn't like showing up like no. There was some.
And the thing is that I did part of my studies in Canada, part of my studies in the UK, so I was used to move a lot. Very open-minded guy, so I guess I was not a good fit, to stay in France my whole career. I like to travel. Within Weber, we travel a lot, so I like that as well. So yeah, and especially when I was young, I saw this opportunity, and every day was very big. This way. We never stopped.
Yeah.
So that was the challenge that fueled my excitement for the job, basically.
Something that just came to my mind. I know you guys got to get somewhere, but something that came to my mind is that I think a lot of times people think when they diversify, it opens up more opportunities. And really both of your stories, going and competing in the German market, ending up in Mexico, within, basically starting your career.
Yeah, exactly.
Going there. When you specialize, it opens, it's like you peel back layers and layers. Same for us. We could do commercials, promo videos. It's all like people want us to do little short clips. We could do all different types.
Yeah.
We go, no, we do this. And that focus has kept us able to just find 100%. The next person and the next person. And we just build.
Compounds.
Yeah, and it's such a simple lesson that giant companies don't learn it. It's crazy, you know?
Yeah, I think that especially within Weber, we had the opportunity to do bolts.
Oh,
like
I'm sure you could, go up to everything. Yeah.
But the thing is that when you specialize within one market, so people they start to know you.
Yeah.
In the end, to be honest, the mining industry is quite small, even worldwide.
Yeah.
I mean, the biggest company, they are everywhere, a bit like us. So if you do things well in Australia, it will have implications in Canada. I can see that a lot now that I'm developing Canada. I can see that we have some clients in Australia. They are there as well. In the US, it's the same thing. So I think that specializing and being very good for a long time, then that's something that's not easy to replicate for others and gives you a very good position to the market.
Yeah, and you end up as a company that does it, and then with people that does it, it's very strong. Yeah.
And the other thing is that since we have a pretty big technical department, the good thing is that the mine, they see us not only at the guys that inject resin for ground consolidation, cavity filling, but when they have other issues, they do ask us as well, since we do the technical support, and we lead them to other companies. They know that we're not the company that will try to sell them every product for every issue.
So you're able to do those references.
Yeah, we do quite a lot of references, and this helped us develop a good market relationship.
Yeah, gentlemen, it is great having you on the show. It's just, you know, and I do a lot of interviews, and it's fun to talk to people that, one, they care about the product they're selling, and again, that focus. It always makes an interesting interview when you're not trying to you're actually just going in on something. So thank you very much. I hope this is just the first of many.
You wanted to say something about the social...
so we are quite a lot on LinkedIn, so if your followers can follow us on LinkedIn. So we post every day our case studies, so that's another thing that people like a lot, and we post very technical things on LinkedIn. We have a newsletter every month on our LinkedIn as well, so that's a great place to find our work. And we will be in Las Vegas in September as well.
We'll be there as well.
Awesome.
So we'll be
maybe we can do another interview then.
We'll be talking about that.
Developments.
And then please send us that link. I don't see that newsletter link. Let's coordinate with our team. Make sure that we'll put to the audience. We'll put links in the description below so people can connect directly with that.
Great.
Perfect. Gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Aaron.
Thank you, and thank you everybody for watching. We'll have you'll be able to connect directly with Jean-Luc and Anthony on their LinkedIn. I'm just double checking. Yeah, you both have LinkedIn. You can follow their company on LinkedIn. We'll have that newsletter link as well, link to their website. Thank you for watching, everybody. We will see you on the next episode of Mining Now.